Yo, what's happening, world? Name's Raheem Flowers, and back at it with a home video. So, I don't know if anybody was able to catch it or peep it, but I had a video that came out about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago now, but it was a pretty recent video I made called DEFCON 3 in reference to what Kanye said about the 1948ers. And I had a feeling that that video was gonna get deleted. I just wanted to see how long it was gonna last. I wanted to see the duration of the video and to see what type of reception I was getting. And of course, I garnered a lot of attention, for me at least, considerably speaking, that I'm shadow banned and all that. And this was very reminiscent to a video that I made called Fuck This Diaspora Rap Part 5 when I was talking about what's his name? David Rothschild, Sam Rothschild, that dude who also produced the film by the jazz artist Bolden when he was going back and forth with Donald Trump on Twitter back in 2019 about confronting the bankers. But yeah, you know, I've been in this atmosphere creating content, at least as far as FoodTube goes, for the last 6+ years, going on 7 years in early 2023, come January 2023, 7 years. And I've seen a lot of changes. I've seen a lot of changes in myself. I watch a lot of my old videos and I'm like, damn, I really said that shit, man. Like, you know, I was a pretty graphic, unfiltered young man. I was 23 years old when I started making videos, and I never allowed my shadow banning, my whole channel being demonetized, and just not being able to connect with people on a certain level, mentally, cybernetically. I never allowed those things to stop me and demoralize me. But it's the story of my life. And I'll give you all a background similar to when I talk in my Confessions of a Black Man video. I came in an atmosphere of being in special ed. From pre-K to high school to even college, which I dropped out. So I already had to deal with the stigma of being looked at as what they would call a retard. And then being the stigma of a black boy living in the Western hemisphere, in the Western world. And then, you know, as I stated in my Confession of a Black Man video, my brother stopped talking to me when I was 12 back in 2004. And then having the SWAT come into where I was living in my apartment here in Chicago, come and put a rifle on me in my bed when I was only 14 years old. And then having my own mother deceive me and never wanted to take ownership to that. And all those things, all those culmination of things that I'm describing would easily demoralize anybody, man or woman, easily but a child? And, you know, I grew up with very emotionally detached family members who lacked affection, particularly my mother and my siblings. Not even my father, but my mother and my siblings. And I put that on my mom. And I put that on my mom because, and it's a theory of mine. I'm not even gonna say that I'm necessarily right, but it's a personal theory that I have that the reason why she was like that is because her mother, which is my grandmother, was like that. And the reason why my grandmother was like that is because, similar to Oprah Winfrey, my grandmother was a victim of rape. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. So, all these variables, all these factors that get projected on to me, they get projected on to my younger brother, and even my older brother. I put a lot on my mother. I do. I resented my mother for a very, very, very long time. It only took me, it took me until my late 20s to stop doing that. And to be honest with you, I can never look at my mother the same. Like, I don't even trust my own mother. I don't trust my father. Like, my life was a very dark life when I was growing up. A very dark life, even though despite that I myself seem like a lighthearted person and I'm filled with positivity and joy, I like to spread that because this is what I truly believe in, or at the very least, want to believe in. I unfortunately have developed a very jaded mindset, a nihilistic one that is skeptical of everyone and everything. But I don't allow that to get to me to the point where I won't work with you. I won't look at a silver lining. But that's the God honest truth, that I'm very weary of individuals. And I do my very best to keep my third eye open, you know? I'm thinking to myself, due to the culminations of what I went through academically, what I went through domestically, what I went through physically, because I got a lot of scars. I got attacked by a pit bull at 12 years old. The same year that my brother stopped talking to me, I got attacked by a pit bull and ended up getting 16 stitches. And these things could demoralize a child, make a child lose his confidence, make him have all this low self-esteem, make him really fuck with you just on a very mental, psychological, spiritual level. All these things that's transpiring can really fuck with you. And, you know, growing up as a black boy and then growing up with foreigners, because for all intents and purposes, I'm not what they would consider a foundationally black American or a melanated American. And I grew up under unique circumstances where I had a brother who had that melanated American lineage or FBA lineage. My brother that I grew up with, my own flesh and blood brother, Isaiah. And I mean, I've noticed the dynamic like through him and my stepmom. I've noticed that there is a dynamical difference, and honestly, even in spite of that dynamical differences, I would argue that my father favored him more than he favored me and my other brothers. I mean, for all intents and purposes, that was his first son. That was his very first son. That wasn't his first child, but it was his first son. So I'm sure even if my father would not want to admit it, that's going to hold something dearer to him. I grew up as a middle child though, because then I have my younger brother who was my father's youngest child. These dynamics, these experiences that I underwent are going to have an effect on you psychologically. And even if I don't want to admit it, even if the people who are within my interpersonal life don't want to admit it, it does. And it got so bad to the point where I don't talk to anybody. I went from being a young boy who would talk to everybody and be so engaging and I couldn't keep my mouth shut for nothing, to being an adult who is jaded, developed nihilistic tendencies socially, not metaphysically, but socially. And it just got to a point where I had to find friendships and bonds elsewhere. And I found that through my best friend, my Mexican friend Juan. I found that through my friend Kamani, who's missing for the last 5+ years. And even my friend Sincere, who is undergoing his cancer returning. And it's not curable. So that's one of the reasons why I also haven't been making videos, because it's been fucking with me. It has. And it still is as I'm recording this. I thank everybody who's ever supported, who's ever subscribed, who's ever watched my videos, loved it or hated it, or is indifferent towards it. Just taking your time out to watch it. I appreciate every last one of you guys. Like, seriously. I try not to show my face too much, but I like people to know who I am. I'm not trying to make that approach where, as I used to say when I used to clown Sergeant Willie Pete or Jason the Black Authority, I used to call them Wizard Kelly niggas, I used to say. So I like people to know who I am and just on a fundamental level, and I've done my very best to be honest with you all and transparent with you all. That's why I made the series, Confession of a Black Man. I'm not even the same individual who I was, and I mean, you're not expected to be as I've gotten older. Me at 30 is not the same as me at 23, 24. And I guess those experiences made me look at things from a higher perspective naturally, but I think to myself that I had so much venom, I had so much contempt, so much hatred, so much resentment, but now it's just like those things have been discarded, but I still have a lot of that darkness inside me. It's just that darkness has shifted into and focuses attention into different things, and I don't look forward to things like how I used to. So I've always gotten closure from making videos. That was my primary reason for making videos on YouTube. It wasn't because I was trying to be some YouTubian star and I'm trying to be that nigga and I'm trying to get so much attention from everybody. Look what happened to Tommy. Tommy is in a situation where he got to go live with his mom. Look at me, I got to live with my family. And it's an embarrassing thing to say. I'm not going to sit here and try to make it seem like I got it all good. I live in my brother's condominium. I do. That's an embarrassing situation. I mean, this is a guy who's an electrical engineer that makes well over $100,000 a year. I gotta live under those circumstances. I gotta live with my family. Like, that shit is embarrassing, man. It is. I made a lot of sacrifices so I could be in a better position. So on a long-term level, I would never have to worry about if I get evicted or if I can't pay my rent enough. I tried to set myself up, and I'm still to this day creating something behind the scenes, and so to speak. And it fucked with me mentally. It fucked with my morale. It fucked with my spirit. It messed with my friendships and my bonds and everybody that came into my life. Like, it's a grim fact. It's a very grim fact of my life. Or grim truth, rather. Because there's a difference between a truth and a fact. The fact isn't interchangeable, but the truth can be and tends to be. But yeah. So this is like a public service announcement. Even in spite of me saying all these things, even when I felt demoralized, I won't let me being demonetized demoralize me or whatever experiences that I undergo, because I've hated my life for a very, very long time. I mean, that's exactly why things didn't work out with me and my siblings, because I just did not have when I was younger, it's not even that I lacked the tenacity, but I don't think I had the wherewithal to combat whatever came my way. And that's what I've been fighting for, that freedom, those resources, that knowledge, those skills, every day, every waking day of my life. Whether I do it gradually, whether I do it passively, or whether I do it proactively, I do my very best. Shit, the crazy thing is, what's been inspiring me lately was Charleston White. Everything that has been inspiring me lately has not been in my personal life, but has been through the internet. Whether it's been people that I met, or whether it's been people who I've watched and I've seen, or who are considered public figures, especially on social media. So yeah, that's what I would have to say to that. I mean, I've learned over time, when it comes to dealing with women, I don't give a fuck how much you say, she says, I don't care about your money. Money is always going to be the equalizer in relationships, especially when men are dealing with women. That is cap, that is a lie that they try to sell and tell you to make you feel better and to implicitly look to get you on your shit. It's like they try to like almost like Inception, they try to embed that shit in your mind. So it's like, you can think that you're living in a dream, but you can't live in a dream. You gotta live in reality, especially as a man. And if you are a so-called black man, then you really gotta be on your P's and Q's. It's that burden of performance. And this is just natural law. This is the laws of nature. You can't be mad at, what did I say? What did I say back in 2016, February 2016? I can't be mad at these white people. I can't be mad at these Jews. I can't be mad at these women. I'll even add a third. I can't be mad at these women simply for following self-preservation, the laws of nature, and self-preservation. And I'll say it again, 6+ years later. So, just becoming so disillusioned from life, I just take those angles and I take those words with a grain of salt, and I just like, okay, I have to deal with this accordingly. So that's what I have to say. Thank everybody for supporting me, and I'm glad that I met the people that I met throughout this time period for the last 6 years. And, you know, I'm going to take a different approach come 2023. I'll be on YouTube and all these other spaces, and I'll even put my stuff on Rumble. I'll put my stuff on other sites, Telegram, but just know that I'm on my final hour when it comes to the Raheem you may have knew or who you had the idea of knowing, making jokes and making certain commentaries. I'm still always going to exist within me, but you're going to notice the difference very soon. Thank you, everybody. Peace out. One love.